Hi, I am Ahmed, your instructor. Today is Saturday, January 2028, 2018. Welcome to all those who are physically presented and as well those who are watching this recording. Welcome to EDT 8130 Making Online Courses Interactive. Let's start with making some quality check. Click a green check if you see the red record in the upper right corner. Okay, that's fine. I will change it to yes, no. Okay, great. Give me a smile face if you see quality check at the top. Good. Click green check if you can hear me clearly. Okay, that's great. Let's move to the next slide. Learning objectives. By the end of this session, students will be able to define the community of inquiry, describe the importance of social presence in education, list teacher presence roles, give definitions of cognitive presence. We'd like to make a comparison between using text-based and voice-based communication in e-learning. Please raise your hand and share your point. Okay, Caroline, go ahead.
So the difference between text-based and voice-based communication is that with text-based, you actually have more time for reflection, and it gives you a more deep learning experience because you have that time. Whereas voice-based, it's all done kind of at the same time, and you don't have a chance to really reflect on what people are saying.
Okay, great. Maria, what do you think?
Well, I think that some people think that because it's text-based, that you can't really express everything that you have, like as far as your emotions, but that is not true. That those can also be expressed using the emoticons or exclamation marks or uppercase and things like that. Bold print, underline.
Do you think using this emoji can take a place of or fix any problem with text-based communication? If you'd like to share your point of view on this, would you raise your hand, please? Okay, Caroline.
What was the question again? Sorry. Do you think that?
What I mean, do you think using these icons, emoji, for example, that will fix any issues with communication? You know, some people think communication by text-based are not as good as voice-based communication. Do you think if we use these icons that will fix this problem?
I think it helps. However, face-to-face always is easier for understanding emotions, but I do believe that text gives you a chance to read through the information and think about it and reflect on it. So I think it gives you more time to think about the information and respond with a better answer.
Mm-hmm. So do you think there's advantage and disadvantage of using text-based communication?
I do, yes.
Okay, Maria, do you have anything would like to?
Yes, I think that a lot of the students nowadays are more comfortable using text-based than voice-based communication.
Yeah, I think you're right. I would like to talk about a little bit of community inquiry. Inquiry is a searching for personal meaning and share this understanding with others to confirm this understanding and get helpful feedback. Community inquiry is a place where individuals listen with each other with respect, support, challenge their ideas, help each other, and get inferences from their discussion. Community of inquiry is a collaborative method to thinking and learning. Community of inquiry framework. It consists of three elements. The first one is social presence, and second one, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. Which one of these elements is the most important and why? I would like you to use your polling tool to respond to this question. So you both agree that teaching present is the most important. Anyone who would like to explain why do you think this? Okay, Maria, you can start.
I think that um, you have to have a strong teaching presence so that you can coordinate the cognitive presence and the social presence.
Okay, thank you. Caroline, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I agree with Maria. And the teaching presence kind of is like the leader of the curriculum, kind of guiding what information will be shared, because the teacher has to set up what the information is going to be and pick the curriculum, and then also helps with the whole cognitive presence part with the discourse and the reflection, and tries to keep the trust in the classroom and also positivity in the classroom so people will share.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. Teaching present, I think it's the most important of the three. Let's move to the next slide. Now, social presence. I have very simple definition of social presence. It's the ability of learners to communicate purposefully in a safe environment. Also, we can define a social present the ability of learners to identify with the groups or subject of study, communicate purposefully in a safe environment, and develop personal and effective relationships by express them own personalities. Let's move to the next slide. Next element, which is cognitive presence. Cognitive presence is learners' ability to have persistent reflection and discover a critical community of inquiry for building and confirming meaning. The last one of these three elements is teaching present. Teaching present, as you know, education is a collaborative process. Both students and teachers have shared important roles. Teaching present has three major roles: designing and organization, facilitating, and direct instruction. Based on your experience, what's the difference? What do you think the difference between designing and organizing? If you like to participate, you can raise your hand.
I'm trying to remember from reading. It's hard to define the difference between these two, but I think designing is more of coming up with the curriculum and the information that needs to be conveyed, and organizing is putting it in the correct order so that it's understandable.
Yeah, it's a good definition, but there is something is more clear about both of them based on the book. The difference between them based on the book, designing is before the starting of learning process, and organizing is what after the starting of the learning process. So in case for any reason, if the instructor need to change syllables or anything, he can adjust his his material.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. As you know, the teaching roles, there are several roles in teaching present, like designing, organizing, direct instruction, and facilitation. Would you use the text tool to write any brief definition of any one of these? Mary can use the red, and Caroline can use the green color, so I can distinguish between you? Good. Designing, selecting collaborative activities and assignments. Setting the curriculum. Good. Organizing, creating the order of activities. Direct instruction, guiding students through the learning process. Facilitation, encourage responses. Good, great. Let's move to the next slide. Some educators think e-learning is not sufficient. How to encourage them to use it? Use Textol to type some suggestion on the whiteboard. I like your suggestion. I think nowadays, like when I was working in Learning Resource Center, I can say 50% of teachers are not willing to use new technology because they think it's daunting and it needs a lot of work. Some of them are not willing to change things they are used to. Let's move to the next slide. I think e-learning is very efficient tool in education. Do you have any questions or suggestions? Feel free to contact me with this email. Thank you for your time. See you next week.